Yee-hoo!
Yeehaw.
Another week. Another week.
Another day, another dollar.
Another dollar. Another dollar down. Blood in the streets, Ed. Blood in the streets. There's blood in the streets. Got some blood in the streets.
Well, you know, big news I saw this morning as I was having my morning coffee and a little breakfast.
Yeah? What were you having for breakfast?
I had a poached egg, a 1 minute poached egg on a nice piece of multigrain toast.
1 minute?
No butter.
Sounds like it would have been a little runny.
Microwave. 1 minute.
Microwave 1 minute. Oh, sounds like it might have been a construction material by the time.
Perfect.
Really?
Perfectly.
1 minute is the perfect time to poach an egg in a microwave.
Maybe 1
on
minute,
high?
5 seconds on high. 1 minute.
High.
Take the egg.
Speaking of on high, the news.
Take it on.
Trulieve Cannabis Corp reported their revenue grew 22% from last quarter to $28.3 million in their Q3 financial statements ended September 30th, 2018. Now let that sink in for a minute. This puts Trulieve squarely in the leadership role in terms of revenue on an annualized basis among all licensed producers. The company also reported a net income during the quarter of $17.5 million and an adjusted EBITDA of $12.6 million with gross margins of 70.5%. What? Further highlights of the quarter include beginning trading on the Canadian Stock Exchange and their agreement to acquire 100% of Life Essence Inc. and 100% of Leaf Industries, marking the company's first operational initiative outside of Florida. Radical Medical Marijuana Inc., a portfolio company of Canopy Rivers since August 2017, has received their production and sales license from Health Canada. The license will allow Radical to supply and sell finished cannabis products for both the medical and adult use market in Canada. The grant of the sales license has triggered the conversion of Canopy Rivers' convertible debenture into approximately 24% of the fully diluted issue and outstanding common shares of Radical. Furthermore, Canopy Rivers' repayable debenture has been automatically set off against consideration otherwise payable, entitling Canopy Rivers to a royalty interest with a minimum annual payment of $900,000 per year for a term of 20 years. Khiron Life Sciences Corp announced that they've received additional quotas from the Colombian Technical Quotas Group to cultivate 5,040 psychoactive cannabis plants. The additional quotes are for the purposes of completing Colombian Agricultural Institute agronomic evaluation tests. This represents a key milestone towards Khiron's stated timeline to bring medical cannabis options to market in Colombia. PVOT Pharmaceuticals Inc. announced that they've received 3 more notices of allowance from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for their patent applications related to their ready-to-infuse cannabis powderization technology. The powder enables accurate and repeated dosing of THC and/or CBD in beverages, capsules, edibles, stick packs, and tablets. As a result, PVOT Naturals has now been awarded a total of 4 patents, furthering the scope of protection around the RTIC process and products. The newly allowed patents will also strengthen PVOT's ability to monetize its portfolio of cannabis-related intellectual property. Origin House, formerly known as Canna Royalty Corp., we'll stop saying that soon, announced their wholly owned subsidiary, Canroy Delaware Inc., has completed the sale of 2.2 million common shares in the capital of Wagner Demas Inc. to Australis Capital Inc. As consideration for the share purchase, Australis has paid Origin House $3 million. The deal means Australis Capital has now completed the purchase of 15% of the outstanding common shares of Wagner Demas. Namaste Technologies announced that the launch of their craft cannabis program with regulatory partner Cannabis Compliance Inc. The program is intended to provide support for craft cultivators who will apply for a micro-cultivator or microprocessor license under the Cannabis Act. Namaste's wholly owned subsidiary Canmart has initiated a program that offers both regulatory and financial support to microcultivators in exchange for a supply agreement with the right of first refusal on 100% of their production. Canmart will launch a craft cannabis section on its website that will offer patients access to a variety of cannabis products sourced from small batch producers. And Radiant Technologies, a portfolio holding of Aurora Cannabis Inc., announced that they've filed an additional 13 provisional patent applications with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. These patent applications cover inventions related to methods and systems for improving the efficiency, accuracy, and security of supply chain tracking for extractable biomass, especially cannabis biomass. This brings the total number of patent applications filed by Radiant in 2018 to 32.
Okay.
Oh, that's quite the news.
I like your new
logo.
Attire.
Logo.
Is that a tire?
It's a logo.
As in a car, or is that?
That's the new logo.
A tire.
It's the new logo.
And what's the? Is there some hidden symbolism there that I haven't yet ascertained using my pea brain?
Well, it's designed to impart a hint of our commitment to the idea of fashion.
Really? Yeah. Fashion.
Fashion.
Okay.
Like you're a fashionable motherfucker.
I'm a fashionista.
And I'm a fashionable.
Well, let's, you know what?
Let's not be gratuitous.
I don't think that term is something that, anyway. Jesus.
Now we can look at ourselves on all these TVs. Oh my gosh, look at us. Woo!
I'm back on the wagon, by the way.
You're back on the wagon? Me too. During the show only, I hope.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ed, some other big news that came down the pike last week that we have to touch on because everybody's asking us about it. And we put feelers out to the parties who would be best able to shed light on it.
Yeah.
But
I see your feet coming over, but that's okay.
A rather remarkable event. A rather remarkable event happened last week, and a bought deal was halved.
And a bought deal is carved in stone.
Used to be.
Indelible ink.
A bought deal meant the deal was bought. But apparently, bought deal in this case meant best efforts, and best efforts meant half.
So this maybe bought deal doesn't carry the swagger that it once did.
Are all of the rules changing right underneath our feet, Ed?
You know what? Just about everything that was ever a rule has morphed into another rule, except maybe gravity.
Well, you know what they say, rules are made for breaking.
Yeah, so they actually changed the terms of a bought deal because maybe it wasn't going so well, and the issuer let them off, right?
The issuer let them off. And now usually, according to our sources, it's the issuer who would be sort of frowned upon for letting the banker off the hook.
But also, would this not make the deal better? I mean, I hear you. I mean,
better.
Look, I don't know.
Better.
Anyways, I don't think this make the deal better, but it's more palatable. Like like if you're a broker,
you mean from the existing shareholders' point of view, less dilution?
Well, let's say you're a broker, and I've been a broker, and you got your clients.
That would make my money and your experience your money and my experience. No? Is that how that works?
So, you know, broker that says that he's taking a bought deal, and then they change the terms, he would have had to eat that. The broker would have had to, he's got to take it in his own account.
Maybe the MedMen guys don't know that.
Anyway.
Hey, maybe here's a new angle of attack for what's the guy's name who runs that company again? Tried to pay himself like $100 million or something crazy, the founder of it. Adam Bierstein. Like a guy like that, he's a fun guy. Would not be normal for him to let the bank off the hook. Unless they've got, unless they're just trying to get along and just trying to move forward. And like, never mind, we could make this big and ugly and we could screw up MedMen and MedMen can screw us up. But why don't we let's make a deal. Demand got soft because the market's been in a rough patch and they just cooperated to get the deal done. And I think, at the end of the day,
cooler heads prevailed.
Well, in many respects, we've just got to appreciate the fact that MedMen just got a $75 million bought deal done. End of story. End of story.
We were just kidding about the $120 million bought deal.
Yeah.
We really didn't want 120.
You didn't need 120. Maybe that's what happened. MedMen said, you know what?
Soft.
We'd love to have this 120 million, but you know what? Fuck that. Let's just take 70 because, that's all we need.
Is the stock still halted? Well, why am I asking you?
I don't know why you're asking me. Do I look like a stock ticker tape?
Yeah. You do. With that shirt on? With that new outfit on?
What do you mean, this new outfit? It's not a new outfit.
It's an old outfit.
This is an old rag that I just found in the back of my closet.
And that's the face of the Midas Letter now, right?
Well, it's the new logo.
Okay. All right.
The old logo What do you got? Mustard and gray. Mustard and gray. We need a little life in all this shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought we'd liven it up with a little, you know, fashion, turn to the left, fashion, turn to the right. Ooh,
and where does Ben
fashion?
Where does Ben trade? Yeah.
We are the Goon Squad and we're coming your way.
Let me ask one more time.
MMEN, colon, CNX.
CNX, thank you, sir.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it still looks like it's still halted here. 543.
Do you have your NDI up?
Yeah.
Cutting to Ed's screen.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, but I just wanted to see if Medman, and it looks
Look
like
at that.
it's still,
The stock's taken off in a northerly trajectory.
yeah, it's still halted. Looks like.
What the hell? What kind of chart is that?
That's just
boy,
that's the chart. So let's put up a 3 month chart.
I better put up my chart. Your charts look defective for some reason.
I got defective charts.
That's not all.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now that looks like a chart.
Okay, so there we go. So
what did it sell off to? What's it at? Last at...
but it's been halted. Medman's halted.
It is.
It was halted Friday.
Oh, yeah, you can see that because there's no trades.
Yeah.
So it's halted. That's odd. You don't usually halt a stock for a bought deal.
Yeah, but when you announce that you're changing the terms of a bought deal, maybe you better halt it.
You think the regulator forced that? Because you really wouldn't want to draw attention to the fact that you were cutting your financing in half, would you, normally? I mean...
Yeah, you got this material. Material news needs to be announced in a proper fashion.
Well, just material news is called a press release.
If you worked in the clothing business, you'd have material news. Get it?
Boy, you're easily
What kind of material
today,
news is that? Well, it's about silk and cotton. Really? Okay, material news.
Material news. Living in a material world.
Yeah.
Material.
Here we go. The crooner. James.
There we go. You know, when I retire, Ed, I'm going to travel from coastal town to coastal town and along the Amalfi Coast.
You're going to go from North Pacific,
all in Italy.
Arctic to the Antarctic.
No. All in Italy.
Really?
Just Italy. Italy and Spain. Till they kick me out and I have to move to a new town with my little ragtag band of improvisationers. Why? Because that's really what I should have done from the first day. I have no business in markets. I can tell by my trading patterns.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I mean, seriously, I'm making money in spite of myself, not because of myself, in spite of myself.
And it's dangerous.
That's kind of dangerous. Anyways, you know, here's a stock I wanted to talk a bit about today that I'm going to pull up as soon as I can get my NDI going, because I won't be able to see it without my NDI going. And the stock is Trulieve. So, you know, this stock did their IPO round
I've been following that one.
1140. Have you looked at the listing statement on that egregious, overweight, inflated elephant?
Okay, so
there's a guy in Russia who's got 127 million shares, and his name is not Boris, who is the CEO, who is the executive chairman. No, but see, here's the thing. These guys are Russians, so if we talk ill of the Russians, will they send bad men to do us in?
Let's change the subject.
Ooh, little bad juju there, eh?
Well,
a little uncomfortable
you know what?
with
The last thing I want is.
Are you afraid, Ed?
Last time
I
wanted.
Are you frightened of the Russians? You a little scared of the Russians, Ed?
You know. Yeah, you know, it can get pretty ugly in certain parts of the world.
Okay, fuck the Russians. I say.
You know what?
Here's the thing.
CURA, look at all these deals that have just come out, and we just saw $800 million in 3 deals, and one of them hasn't been priced yet, but one of them is acreage. Another one was
priced at $25.
And then I talked to Dave Townsend. He was telling me another one started Friday, and I looked it up, and it's way down.
Yeah, well, it's not exactly what you would call
No. So what is this telling you? Like, who is still putting money into these things? Like, if you immediately give somebody $25 and then you say, "Oh, look at first trade, 20," isn't that?
But acreage is already back up to 25.
Okay, so
which, despite, and I had a call with the CFO today, I was not able to get what I would call a satisfactory response on the various share structures. It's very convoluted, very complicated. However, I have agreed to refrain from commenting further until I've been able to figure it out, which might take a little while, because apparently I'm
a lot of this. If you look at it, looks like there's a lot of financial engineering going on these deals.
A little. And you know how many classes of shares there are in the acreage conglomerate pre-RTO? I don't know. I bet you there's more than that. I think they ran out of letters in the alphabet.
Point being.
You watching TV yet?
I just want to see I'm watching the tape. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah. Hey, look at interesting guys on TV. Wow, holy smokes. I'm busy. I'm going to watch television.
Okay. But you realize that's
that's
you're
us.
Looking at.
Oh, Jesus. A handsome guy. Jeepers creepers.
All right.
So at the end of the day, there's a lot of financial engineering going on. You wonder if, and guys, I don't know you guys, so whoever you are raising this money, are you thinking, let's raise while the raising's good? In other words,
because if you're not,
they're creating deals and saying, okay, for us to raise this money, we need the stock tied up. We need very few shares trading.
There's no stock tied up in these deals. Acreage, 100% of the entire fully diluted.
I doubt that.
Is free trading within 6 months.
Oh, within 6 months, but that's not now.
That's awfully close to now. If I was a retail shareholder and somebody was asking me to buy $25 shares when there's 80% of the float out there has a cost basis below $6, I would hesitate. I would hesitate, and I would question the motives of the individual trying to sell me such stock. I would suspect that he's probably a holder of those cheaper shares. Just a hunch. Just saying. Just saying it. Anyways, we want to talk about some charts today. You got some charts, Eddie? You want to look at some charts?
Look at the S&P, okay? That's
the S&P.
That's big. We'll look at the S&P. Yeah, yawn. Well, if you know the Apple guys.
Apple?
There was a big announcement made by Apple that I read this morning that I thought was a bit alarming.
Oh, excellent. What happened?
Well, did you want me to tell you?
Tell me.
So Apple's cutting worldwide production of their 3 main phones immediately. So why would they do that?
Because everybody's got one?
So if the stock's capped at wherever it is, would you sell that stock? And if you sell Apple and you drive it lower, what's the implication for everything else, considering it's $1 trillion company? In other words,
you know, those big companies, I stay away from them because they make too much money. And I'd be retired now. So then what would I do? If I'd bought Apple at like $50.
I don't know. I can't see you retiring.
Anyways, so the S&P, let's look intraday here. What is the essence of the day on the S&P? Yeah, it's down. Okay, it's down.
Big.
Big? It's down. Down, 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 down. Last at 26.97. What did it open at?
Like
27.29.
Okay, I'm getting frustrated here. Why is it I can't get up this chart that I want to get up?
You want to get a chart up, Ed?
I want to get up the S&P.
I got it. Pick mine. Pick mine. Jimmy's got the S&P up on his NDI. If you were awake at the chrono, we would. Oh, there. Look, it's there. Nice.
Yeah, that doesn't help me.
What do you? That's the intraday chart of the S&P.
What's this black thing here? Is this a black hole? Is this a black
defective TV, Ed? That's being replaced on Thursday.
Why can't I get it on my?
I don't know.
On my computer.
On mine. What's that?
Look up. I just want to put up a chart and just look to see. But I guess I'm not.
Okay. While you're doing that, we are going to look at an interview that I did just a short while ago with Graeme O'Neill from Bayhorse Silver. Here's that little conversation. Hey, welcome back. My guest in this segment is Graeme O'Neill, President and CEO of Bayhorse Silver, trading on the TSX Venture under the symbol BHS. Graeme, welcome to our little show.
Well, thank you, James. It's good to chat with you again.
Now, Graeme, I've been following this this Bayhorse Silver project that you've had for, I think, almost 7 years now. And you've made some great progress, even though the price of silver has not exactly cooperated with us. Give me an overview of the Bayhorse Silver Mine in Oregon.
Well, it's the mine is on patented ground. It's a small mine in regards physical size, but large in regards to resources. Very high grade mine. It was mined in the 20s. Again, very briefly in the 80s. Mainly the mine shut down on both occasions due to low silver prices. But we had all our expertise, our experts get out there and check all the data. We figured there was between 6 and 7 million ounces of high-grade silver, with a little gold, by the way. And we opted to go in and reopen the mine before we did a 43-101, which we've just completed, and we're very happy we did. We're now on a basically a mining stage.
So you're mining silver on a daily basis right now?
That's correct, yes.
And what are the economics looking like for you on an annualized basis?
Well, we've got 2 years of underground costs, and the cost per ounce is approximately $8.79 to mine. The cost of mining a ton is approximately mining and actually processing a ton, according to our numbers, internal numbers, is approximately $129 a ton. Seeing the silver $40 and a little change, that's $300 gross, so it's quite a margin for error.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then what is the sort of sensitivity to the price of silver in terms of how it impacts your profitability?
Well, right now we've got theoretically a 50% margin. Silver price goes up, our price dramatically increases. Our margins just go up through the roof. The average silver rate is 21.5 ounces a ton, a little over, and we have the NAND grade mine.
Okay, great. So then now you've got some cobalt projects as well, or no, that's not you. Sorry, I'm confusing you with another company now. So in terms of, what's the upside for investors in Bayhorse in terms of investing now? And is this sort of like the bottom for the company's share price as far as you're concerned?
I would think so. The concern everyone has is that silver is going to go down a lot more. But from our standpoint, it's not going to really matter much. Our CFO, Rick Lowe, has determined that we can actually go as low as 16 ounces a ton and break even. And as I say, we're currently operating with an average of 21.65 ounces a ton. Obviously the price of silver is a concern. A lot of people think it's going to go a lot lower. We don't. We think this is the bottom of the silver price and the bottom of our low price as far as shares are concerned. We're mining 100 ton a day right now, processing through the ore sorter. We have a Steinet XRT ore sorter, which are state of the art. A few people have got them now, and they're really, really pleased with them. Drop back the amount of mine material from in the past you would have to process that whole 100 ton. Now we move about 80 to 90% of the waste material. So we only actually have to process 15, maybe 20% of what's left, which is all high-grade silver.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's great, Graeme. We're going to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me, James, and look forward to talking to you again.
You bet. Bye for now. Hi-ho silver! Away!
Now, I just want to, he's basically looking for silver and mining silver?
He's mining silver. He's found the silver. He's not looking for silver. He's got silver.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty good.
What's the symbol of his company?
Bayhorse. Sort of like Baywatch, but with a horse.
Baywatch with a horse.
Baywatch with a horse. The symbol is BHS. So anyways, Ed, I was wondering what you thought of the news out. Oh, I didn't get that printout of the news, did I? Okay. Let's see.
I was looking at Afri earlier, and I noticed that it's at a level where if it drops much further, it could get a little interesting.
Oh, yeah. Great.
So I'm going to put up a chart of Afria.
Uh-oh, there's scariness. So we've got some questions from the audience that I will take and answer while you get your chart there organized, Ed. Can the U.S. sell over the border? I'm assuming you're referring to not pistols and not cigarettes, but marijuana. No. No, the U.S. cannot sell any cannabis products into Canada. Canada has exported cannabis to the United States, but only under a license for university research, which is not necessarily a sale, though I'm sure funds were paid. Question number 2. Alot Maple says, is the Farm Bill being passed? Now, it will get passed in some way, shape, or form? Probably. Is it going to include all the rosy language that positively impacts the market for CBD? Hard to say, hard to say. You never know what's going on with those American politicians. And Alot Maple wants to know how weed stocks react to rate hike by the Fed in December. If the Fed raises rates in December, probably the S&P will swoon, and that will take stocks even lower. Plus, it's the end of year tax loss selling time, and with all of these stocks now firmly in the red for the year, am I going to say? We'll have a look at that in a minute. Tax loss selling begets tax loss selling.
Tax loss selling usually ends around the 15th of December.
Is that right?
It ends a little earlier than people think.
Why?
Well,
if you sell it at the end of the year,
you don't wait till the last day.
Well, I do. I always leave everything to the last minute.
Okay, so listen, let's say you sell it early.
Okay.
The tax loss selling keeps coming in because you have to wait to buy it back. So by the time everybody else is selling at the end like you are, the early bird gets the worm. They've already sold. They're buying your tax loss sale. How about that?
Oh, I hate that.
Jesus.
God damn it. Yeah. Who are these people, Ed? Yeah. Let me at them. Let me at them.
Who are these people?
Yeah. Boy, so they're basically taking advantage of me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They only take people. They only take advantage of people that allow themselves to be taken advantage of.
I kind of like to be taken advantage of.
Yeah. I can
on
see
occasion.
That. I can see that look in your eye. Okay.
Anyways, so yeah. So what do you think about the Afria chart?
Well,
show me.
Okay.
Show me.
Okay. So here we are. Is it up?
Nope. Nowhere to be seen.
There it is.
I see it. Okay. We'll just.
There we go.
Now it's up.
Is it up?
It's
okay.
Up.
Okay. So here we go. I want to say we had an important level of support there. Mm-hmm. And now looks like we're breaching that. We've rallied it off of there, and you know. These charts of these marijuana stocks, they're rolling over. I don't know how low they're going to go, but if Afria, takes out that low here, and it looks like it's just, it's starting to point south, and you got moving average lines pointing south. The trend is your friend, and if you're long and the trend is down, you're not going to believe the trend is your friend. You're going to think the trend is your enemy. But welcome to Bay Street. Anyway. So there's Afria. Afria looks like it's tired and rolling over, and we failed here. We failed here. Back there. This was a little lower, and now, and this obviously wasn't anywhere near it. and let's just see where it closes.
Okay.
Anyway, that's one, and I wanted to talk about weed, which is the big one here in the country.
Yeah.
Our biggest, right? And is that yeah? Okay. Wait a minute. Don't make a mistake. This is the hard part. Click.
Yeah. Click.
Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, now.
Weed.
Okay.
Weed. In the weeds. The weed is in the weeds.
Weed hyphen CA. Enter. Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da.
And so here we go again, and it's very similar, although we did have a new high here, and looks like legislation. Again, a 3-month chart. Let's look at a 6-month. If we can. There we go. There's our 6-month. Yeah, that's from the time it got legal here, or at least Constellation Brands came in, and so we had a major top here, and now we got this bottom here. Here, let me just put that on. And this bottom, it doesn't look as damaging as the Africa chart, but here are the two of the big ones in Canada. And they're looking the same. I think we're at some important support levels. I like to see those support levels hold. And you know, so you know, similar kinds of patterns. Again, you know, I think this one's down $3 today. $3 or so. How the indices doing today, James?
Well, Ed, it's funny you should ask. How about we pull up a chart of our index? So I'm going to pull up the chart of the large cap index here.
Yeah.
And just give me whoa, 1 second while I figure out how to do that.
Whoa, 1 second.
Whoa, MLCCC at MLCC, not .com. Okay, that's the intraday. So looking at my chart. Look at my chart! Oh.
Frozen? I think we're moving up to up north somewhere because apparently the terrain is frozen.
What's frozen? My NDI? Okay. So we're not off the air then. There, NDI off. NDI.
Wax on.
Back on.
Wax off.
All right, so how's that, boys? Can you see it now? Boy, these internet technologies aren't quite as ready for prime time as we thought they were, are they, Ed? This is why, you know, TV's still going to be around as long as this nonsense continues. Look at that logo. Okay,
so what are we looking at there?
This is the Midas Letter Large Cap Index, which is all companies trading above $500 million in market cap as of September 30th this year. So there's about 10 of those companies. And this is the intraday. So intraday, we started the day at 77.91, and we're now at 74.18.
This is this chart actually doesn't look that bad because you got a nice long base. You had a little move off of here.
You're not supposed to.
I know, but what am I supposed to do? That I don't have it on my. I can't draw.
And here's the 3 months. So
yeah.
I'm going to look at 1 year because
you
know we're still up on a 1 year basis.
Yeah, still. Hey, could be worse, folks. We could be down.
Year to date. So we're still, you know, it's still net win for the year, and that's a big win for a year.
That's a big if.
That's a big win. From 31.39 to 74.14. So we basically index is still up 100% on the year. So it can afford to give back.
And people seem to be nervous. Why?
If
everybody's up. Not everybody's
up.
No.
People coming late to the party are having a hard time. You know, this is the thing. People see all these wealthy, newly minted millionaires from being in pot stocks, and they think, oh, I'm going to buy some on Monday, and I'll sell it on Friday, and I'll be rich.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, that's all it takes. You just
is that how it works?
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I've been trying that for 40 years. How does that? Why am I still here?
Well, the only time I make money is when I'm not allowed to trade my stock.
Yeah. Good.
Then it's like I say, I make money in spite of myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the large cap index. Now we're going to go look at the actual graphic index pages here because they're much prettier, and we'll be able to see then who's doing what, where, and what the upshot of that is. So, cannabis. Here we go. Okay, so look at that. The Midas Letter Large Cap Index is down 5.29% on the day. And the biggest loser is TGOD, down 7% to $3.15, having lost 24 cents. Closely followed by Canopy Growth Corp, who has now lost 6.78%, $3.14 down to 43.18.
You mind if I look at this one because I can't see that one? I can't see it. That's how good my eyes are.
Why don't you try your glasses? They're for reading?
Reading glasses. Okay, I didn't think I need the glasses for distance.
We're going to have to put that TV right here. For
yeah, you know what you got to do? You got to put it back here.
How about that one?
Yeah.
That's there. Now you got your back to everybody again.
Oh, I feel safe.
Damn. Look at CanTrust was down to 780 earlier.
But interesting again. Here, look at this. The only one that isn't changed is MedMen because it's halted. Ha ha ha. Look, they're all down.
Yep.
Why?
Why?
I know why.
Tell me why.
Look at this. That guy's giving away free money.
Okay. Look at. So yeah, it's the large cap index that's down the most, which tells me that there is. Let's go look at the CSE index now. Now we're kind of screwed up on the CSE index, which used to be very representative of the speculative early stage class. But now we've got all these behemoths on there. We've got Green Thumb Industries, we've got MedMen, we've got Acreage Farms, we've got Curaleaf, we've now got M. Jardine. It's becoming like, when did the CSE become a big cap?
Casino. Big cap casino. Because you know what? Everybody I think is taking the approach, take the money while you can.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but it gives Bay Street a bit of a bad rap.
Why? Bay Street doesn't have a bad rap. Bay Street is the land of milk and honey and angels.
Yeah. Like I said, all this activity gives Bay Street a great rap.
Great rap like, hey, how you doing? Do you want to lose some money? Put your money down now and we'll take it away.
Like, how about 2 trailer park girls go around the outside, round the outside?
$50, $50. Yeah, so great. We won't be swapping ourselves out for joining the hip hop revolution anytime soon, shall we, Edward? No, I don't think so. Okay, so on the
big news, big news last week. You know what happened?
What?
Ireland beat the All Blacks in rugby on the weekend.
Oh yeah,
that's big. That is like.
It sounds a bit racist.
Well, I'm talking rugby, folks, and then there is a team called the All Blacks, and there is from New Zealand.
Is everybody on the team black?
Their outfits, I think, are black. James,
is that what it is?
Anyway, you know what?
Uncomfortable, Ed?
I'm not uncomfortable.
I don't know anything about this team, the All Blacks. It must be all black. That's what I would think. There's nothing racist about that. Just so you know, that's what they call themselves. Damn it.
Okay.
Jesus, moving right along.
But this team dominates rugby, and now we've got Ireland.
You know what? I've had enough out of you, Ed. Here's Jackie Kelly.
Okay, good.
Oh. Well, welcome back. In this segment, I'm going to be speaking to the fabulous Jackie Kelly, who is a partner at Adelaide Capital. Jackie, welcome back.
Thanks, James.
Jackie, I recently saw a clip of you visiting Avicanna at the Mars building.
Yes.
And so before we go any further, we're going to just roll that clip to give the audience a bit of perspective about our upcoming conversation.
Okay. Here at Avicanna Inc., headquarters in Toronto, and I've got with me Aras Azadian. We are now in the space.
Yeah, this is home office. So this is our Toronto head office. It's also where everything began from. So all the R&D was initially done here. We're actually in the J-Labs facility, which is the Johnson & Johnson Incubation Center. To better explain how that works, this is an incubation center where Johnson & Johnson collaborates with promising biotechnological or pharmaceutical developments and companies. And we were actually admitted, and we were the first cannabinoid company to be admitted here. So since then, we have 2 laboratories here where our scientists, which is about 25 of them now, work with the staff here, and also across the street where we have the collaboration with the University of Toronto's Department of Pharmacy. So what makes this place very special for me, and I think for the scientific community, is that it's in the center of Mars. So Mars is a medical and related research center where you have a combination of some of the major hospitals and research institutions, including UHN, UFT, Toronto General Hospital. You have Princess Margaret Hospital, you have Sick Kids Hospital, basically all of the main clinical and academic institutions related to science, medical research is here. And we happen to have all of these incredible minds within 100 feet sort of proximity to us. So not only do we do the R&D here in our own beautiful facility here, we do have support from Johnson & Johnson senior executives at a mentorship level. We have our team at University of Toronto, but we also have our clinical partnerships. The way I look at this industry, I think Canada is so far has been the center of this industry. And if Canada is the center of this industry and we are in the center of the research part of Canada, we are well positioned to be the thought leaders and the innovation leaders when it comes to cannabinoid research and cannabinoid innovations. And that's something that we take strong pride in.
And how long have you been part of J Labs?
We originally were admitted about 2 years ago, and it was a tough process, given, of course, the natural stigma that's associated to cannabinoids and cannabis. But because we were a strictly medical and pharmaceutical-oriented company, I think showing the research, showing the products, and the actual technology associated to what we're doing, in addition to having a very strong scientific and medical team, was a reason we were ultimately approved to be part of this incubation center.
So, obviously a big deal. Your location is right in the heart of it, but I want to touch more on J Labs because it is such, an exclusive platform to be part of. So how many J Labs are there? Do you know worldwide or? I
think there's a total of 5. There's a few in the United States. We're the only one, Toronto is the only one that has one in Canada. Yeah. I think it's an incredible opportunity for small biotech startups or mid-sized companies to be here. Again, you have about 40,000 square feet of lab space, that's common area, so there's millions of dollars worth of equipment that we have access to use. In addition, we have our own individual labs, but having not only the location, but having that amount of support, in addition to all that equipment and all that sort of space is very, very helpful. And also there's a lot of other innovative, like-minded companies.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this space, the different areas, what it facilitates.
So we're currently in the common area. And the common area is meant to be an open concept working space for all the companies. In addition to that, there is the boardrooms. So there's individual boardrooms that we obviously utilize. In addition to that, there is individual offices. So our team has offices in the back space as well. We have 2 offices. In addition to that, there's individual labs. So we happen to have 2 labs, one that's designed for controlled substances and one that's designed for more open research where our scientists do a lot of the pre-formulation work.
Well, I will say the security to get up here is tight, so.
Fort Knox. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for inviting us in and showing us the space, and we'll keep a keen eye out on the story.
Thank you.
That is quite the beautiful office.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And so does this mean that Johnson & Johnson is an investor in Avicanna?
They're a mentor.
A mentor?
Yes.
So that is Johnson & Johnson with one toe in the cannabis space.
Unofficially, that's correct.
Wow,
yes.
That's incredible. Yeah. So Avicanna is obviously a company that we should be paying closer attention to. They're still private, right?
That's right. So they're going to do a full IPO, so not an RTO, an IPO, and they'll go public probably January or February of next year.
Wow, very cool. And so... Yeah. Obviously, with Johnson & Johnson's involvement, they're focused on the biomedical applications of cannabis?
That's right. So they have 4 different vertically integrated structures, and the first is growing. So they are LPs, and they're Columbia-based. They've got 2 facilities down there. And one of their facilities, they're partnered with a group called Grupo Devon. And it's the world's largest organic agricultural company. Mm-hmm. So they've got the logistics, the import-export, like the processing facilities, the whole thing. So, really great partners on the agro side. Then they're partnered for medical or in California with King's Garden.
Okay.
Then they're partnered cosmetic line with J&J. They're working on that. So it's a dermatology cosmetic line. So they've worked with some of the people from Aveeno and that kind of stuff. And then the 4th and final is they're applying for DINs, so drug identification numbers, to do orphan drug status.
Wow, interesting. So they are probably very conversant with the idea of isolating specific cannabinoids at a pharmaceutical grade to use as an ingredient in these new drugs that they're going to develop.
That's exactly right.
Very cool. Wow, you've been really getting around lately.
Yes.
So tell me about Adelaide Capital. Like, what are you guys up to? You recently came back from Las Vegas.
That's right. So I was down in Vegas for MJ Biz, which was phenomenal. It was a great turnout. There was over 20,000 attendees, over 1,000, what are they called?
Exhibitors?
Exhibitors,
oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I guess, did you meet lots of new people down there?
I did. It was a lot of ancillary products and kind of, synergies. So soil companies or packaging companies, that kind of stuff. So there's not a lot of LPs. A few of the big ones were represented, but I'd kind of known those guys already.
Okay.
But really, it was the parties that the networking was done at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were invited to all the parties, I'm sure.
I did about 5 a night.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 a night?
Yeah.
Wow. What time did you get to bed every night?
Late. Yes.
Wow, fantastic. So was the conference oriented towards investors mostly, or was it more like cannabis business to business, or was it cannabis business to consumer?
Business to business, I'd say primarily, and then business to consumer, secondary. So it was not investor focused.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not at all, eh? Cool. Great. So then what are you seeing happening in the cannabis space generally? Were the American people there very excited about cannabis becoming legal, and is there a real sort of excitement in the air down there?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I would say that a lot of the attendees were Canadian. So a lot of Canadians definitely came down for the conference. But all of the Americans that I spoke to, A, commented on how many Canadians there were, and B, they're definitely starting to get excited about the space, and they're starting to, look towards our exchange as an investment platform. Sure. Which is great.
Yeah. Does Adelaide Capital service a lot of cannabis companies?
We do. We've got some Canadian, some U.S. A lot of our cannabis companies that we're working with are private right now. We do have a couple publics. So.
Sure. Yeah. So as an investor relations person, how are you finding, so you've got some clients who are mining.
Yes.
And you've got some clients who are cannabis.
Yes.
Which one is more popular?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, well, I have lots of mining investments and lots of cannabis investments, and today they're all red.
Right.
However, most days it's the cannabis investments are obviously a lot more dynamic, a lot more interest globally from the investor space, and the mining market has been basically gone back into pain and suffering mode, such as it has been for the last. Going on 6 years now, 7 years maybe. So in terms of Adelaide Capital's future sort of client flow, are you guys looking for more exposure to the cannabis space, or are you looking to preserve your sort of practices in both mining and cannabis, and do you have other practices?
So yeah, we work with companies in all sorts of industries. So we've got mining, tech, industrials, cannabis, healthcare. I mean, we're very broad and generalist in that sense. But yeah, right now cannabis is hot, and there's a lot happening. So to not be in the space would be a mistake. I think that there's going to be a lot of M&A activity. There's going to be a lot of roll-ups and all sorts of kind of mixing and mingling amongst the cannabis companies. So I think there's still going to be a lot of work to be done, especially U.S. U.S. cannabis companies, I think is kind of now the hot spot. Canada's sort of, had a good run. Right.
So tell me about some of the technology companies that excite you.
One of my favorites is Enwave Corporation. I know you've interviewed Brett Charlton. He's the new CEO. Right. So they do have a little bit of a cannabis focus because they're a dehydration technology machine, and they are able to dry cannabis, but they also dry fruits for cereals or, all sorts of other
dehumidification things. On a industrial scale.
That's right.
Huh, very cool.
But we like that one. That stock has performed well, and it's a steady growth company. I mean, cannabis is different because there's high volatility in the marketplace in general, right? Yeah, but with these other stocks, we kind of try and pick slow and steady, going up.
Right. So are there other companies that you're working with that you really like?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. An industrial that we like is Atlas Engineered Products. The ticker is AAP.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
Yep.
What do they make?
They make roof trusses. So literally like the triangle-shaped frames for roofs.
Everybody needs a roof over their head.
They do. So yeah, so they're cool. They're a roll-up but with organic growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really like that one.
Cool. And so from where you guys sit, do you see any sort of recovery in the mining space in the road on the road
I think
ahead?
so, yeah. Some of the like base metals and the battery kind of things are coming back into play a little bit. So I think Canada's always going to have a sweet spot for mining.
Yeah.
You know, to an extent. And we do have a couple mining companies.
Yeah.
We represent Golden Rain, which is now Mako Mining. They just did an acquisition, or merger, I should say. And so they relisted yesterday.
As Omega Mining?
Mako.
Mako.
Yeah.
M-A-C-O?
M-A-K-E-O.
Oh,
like the fish.
Like the shark. Okay.
Or like the shark, yeah, like the shark. So Mako, and then we've got Solitario Zinc, which is a U.S. company. SLR, they're dual listed here in
And is zinc
States.
making a comeback?
Zinc's having a little, it's
Percolating?
Yeah, a little bit.
Bubbling along?
It's yeah. The sector itself is having a little bit of a hard time, but I think everything's gonna come back, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess, especially if we get that big recession that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, hopefully not. But
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Jackie, we'll leave it there. We'll come back to you in due course. Thanks for joining me today.
Okay, thanks.
She's a gal about town, eh, Eddie?
Well, she's that interview she did with that, and Johnson & Johnson are involved there.
Johnson? Oh, you mean the large cap consumer goods company?
The large, what?
Large capitalization financial consumer products.
Yeah, I know
business.
all about that. Yeah.
So, but I think that's really something that you know. I mean, we got two scenarios here. We have bought deals, and the rules changing there under, you know, indicating that something profound is happening across the whole thing. And then in the meantime, we've got, just down the street in Toronto, we've got Johnson & Johnson.
At the Mars Center.
At the Mars Center, incubating a cannabis company for biopharmaceuticals.
That's what Johnsons do. They incubate.
That's right. They do. Anyways, so conflicting signals from all over the market. But I want to go back to this, not to beat a dead horse, but I don't want to. I want to look at the significance of this bought deal repricing, resizing.
Yeah. Well, significance is the rules, and John's been a banker for a long time, and he's sort of been filling us in. Thank you very much, John McMahon. But at the end of the day, yeah, if John says it's serious, he's an astute guy. He's watching stuff. It's serious. They're changing the numbers. You don't just you have to change it because it was probably force majeure. It was like a matter of life and death. I don't know. Who knows?
But so
they made a lot of money.
When something fundamental like that occurs, is that a signal that the market might be topping out, at least as it concerns these large cap, highfalutin $4, $5, $2 billion companies that would like to come to market with these valuations on a balance sheet doesn't even justify a $100 million valuation, never mind 2.5 billion or 4 billion.
Companies come to value, raise money just about all the time, but they especially raise money in copious quantities when the valuations are exceedingly high. And we're seeing that, like we're seeing issues come out, trade immediately at 15 to 20% discounts. That's really, like, I was a broker. If and I was riding these things and buying them to, sell them out, cover the commission, and move on, right? At the end of the day, you're sitting with these things and you're thinking, oh my God, I got to call up this client and tell them that this beautiful deal I just put you in at 25 is now trading at 21.
And would you like to sell some? Because I'd like some commission.
I need some more commission. Yeah.
Interesting.
The broker the broker you get.
Is that right? Is that what happens to brokers? They go broke?
That's why they call them brokers.
I see. They're broker and broker by the day.
Broker all the time.
Broker and broker by the minute. We had some interesting questions from the audience that we'd like to address now. And Khiron Crumpf 666 says, will Coke be legalized?
Coke.
Yeah, Warren.
Well, it used to be back in the day when they were making Coca-Cola, they'd say with cocaine added, right?
Well, Coke is legal. Warren Buffett's the biggest investor.
Coke.
Yeah, he does coke every day.
Coca-Cola.
Well, it's now
You don't mean cocaine.
Nobody says, "Can I have a Coca-Cola, please?"
What do they say?
They say, "Give me a Coke."
Give me some Coke or a Coke?
Or they say, "Sorry, we don't have Coke. Is Pepsi okay?"
Is that what coking coal is?
I had an interview, which I don't believe we've ever aired, with the former senator of...
When you say aired, E-R-R-E-D or A-I-R-E-D?
Of the former senator of Colombia.
Yes.
Senator Juan Galan, who told me that Colombia's next act would be to legalize coca for medical purposes. Not cocaine, coca.
That's what they use for the dizziness you experience when you climb these high mountains, right? Don't they chew raw leaves?
The denizens of the high Andes.
The denizens,
the local people. The local people chew cannabis and make tea,
not George Dennison who lives in Byron, not his family, right?
No. The local people, if you go to Juarez, for example, population 10,000 at elevation 4,500 meters or so above sea level.
That's big.
There's a little old lady sitting on the street with a garbage bag full of coca leaves, and you can buy a handful of coca leaves for like 2 soles. And if you suffer from altitude sickness, because there's not a hell of a lot of oxygen up there, then you drink the tea, and you feel better. Have you ever had altitude sickness?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Did you do a big fat line? I mean, drink some tea to get over it?
They weren't offering me the leaves because we were up in outside of Peru, up in the Andes. Yeah, and I got sick. It wasn't motion sickness.
It was close up of the back of my head in that last shot. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, it's surprisingly.
Don't want everybody to find my stash back there behind my ears. So will coke be legalized? Graeme Crump 666.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
It is legal in Portugal.
Is it?
Yeah. Or it's decriminalized. I don't know about legal, but in Portugal, there is nothing for which you will go to jail that constitutes a substance you put in your body.
As long as you're doing it to yourself and not necessarily pushing it on.
Are you going to stuff it up somebody else's nose? Can you imagine what you'd have to do to...
But a lot of people, they say a lot of the coke dealers, they give out initially to people free, and once they're hooked, then they start to charge them. Hey, I'm not making this shit up.
Good cocaine is not really that addictive. I would think. I forgot to caveat that with I would think.
How would you know?
How would I know?
How would you know?
How would I know? Jesus. Anyways, another question. Nichols, etc. says, have you ever tried any MPX products? For me, no. You? MPX?
It's MPX.
Clearly the answer is no. Kempo Consulting wants to know, did the Midas boys attend that small cap thing that happened today on Bay Street? Well, Kempo Consulting, it happened on Adelaide Street, and we did not attend because we've got a show to do. And here we are doing it. While that show is happening over there, we're doing our show over here. We wanted to go and check it out. Gravitas Securities, we know those guys, and but
Gravitas and another company are doing the raise for. Can I say it?
What?
Juju.
International Cannabis. International Cannabis is actually presenting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, good.
What would you like to say about it?
Well, they repriced that deal. That
was not a bought deal, though.
No.
It started at 20 cents, got repriced at 15 cents. Where's it at today?
Didn't you try to do it at 21?
I don't know. I just wish somebody would buy the shit out of it so I could get off at a decent price. Tyler Valdal says, Midas Letter, what do you think of Choom Holdings Inc? CHOO on the CSE. I'll tell you what. Chris Bogart, the CEO, is a damn fine specimen of a human being. I like Chris. Also, they got that $20 million bought deal done with Aurora, who's now like one of their biggest shareholders at a premium to today's market price.
Right.
So I think Choom's probably in a very good position going forward once all the smoke clears from this period of negativity, which it's interesting. We've got a bunch of large caps who have now come to market with over $1 billion valuations. Trulieve,
like in total.
Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
And then now we've got M Jardine, and we've got
MJAR. That's the ticker. MJAR.
Hey.
MJAR.
Anyways, so
let me just see what MJAR's doing.
If these companies start to underperform, which they're at some risk of underperforming. End of the day, end of the market.
MJAR got down to 785. It's now 880. It's pulled back.
What did it? What was the IPO financing?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. MJAR.
I thought we were the authority on things like this.
Well, are you suggesting that I'm more of an authority than you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're more authoritative. You've got. You're older than I am.
I certainly am. I have more experience than you.
And more experience.
Well, not in all areas.
There's some in which you have no experience.
I have no experience.
That's right.
All right. And Jimi Hendrix would ask the question:
Are you experienced?
Are you experienced?
Interfacing wants to know which company or companies stand to gain from the Farm Bill if hemp is legalized. I would say number one would be Charlotte's Web. I don't say that just because I own 50,000 shares. I say that because Charlotte's Web kind of was there first, one of the first, but pretty much any company that, you know, has a good distribution channel or good sales in the hemp space is going to benefit for the Farm Bill.
Yeah.
From the Farm Bill. Joe Briscoe wants to know, when is Juju CEO back on? He has some explaining to do. Well, you know, I'm gonna step up for Steve Gormley here and say that you know, they really kind of have done what they said they were going to do, and that they did execute on the, you know, reduction in shares outstanding. They did execute on the deal with Vida Verde. They did, you know, they've done everything that they said they were going to do, except they were not able to close on the financing yet, and the market has not been there for them. So it's not really their fault per se, but
I think they were victims of right at about the time they wanted to execute. The volatility in the junior space was pretty.
Well, plus let's face it, their structure absolutely sucks. That's one bullshit structure.
Oh,
if you ask me.
Like they moved that thing from 11 cents to 35 cents so fast and make your head spin.
Yeah.
Well, who's they?
It certainly wasn't me. Well, actually, I guess it was me because I was buying it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say I've taken a bit of a haircut on that one, but you know, you win some, you lose some. I am not Renaissance Technologies. I'm not one of those guys who never loses money. In fact, I'm surprised when I make money. No, just kidding. I'm not surprised. Of course I'm making money. We're smart, God damn it. So anyways.
Okay, what's next?
We've got 3 questions from the street today, Ed. From the Ask Me Anything efforts of the 4 East internal media production crew.
What's the first question?
What's the first question?
Hi, James. How do you think the introduction of edibles will affect cannabis stock next year?
Not easy questions. Not one.
not a slam dunker.
You just can't say they'll affect them. They'll affect it.
Will the introduction of edibles affect? Well, I think in terms of the LPs, the introduction of edibles will certainly constitute a fresh source of demand for the plant material and its immediate extracts for ingredients into edibles. So that's a plus, but
it's going to take away from the smoking part.
Exactly. If people are going to consume edibles instead of consuming,
because some people are just totally against putting any smoke in their mouth
or anything in their mouth.
And you're no fun.
And yeah, so the bottom line is, will they affect stocks? Probably, I would think it would be a net wash. Although extracts as an ingredient has typically a higher margin than plant material as an ingredient.
You know, a friend of mine's got this spray, this nano spray, and once in a while you take a couple shots, just like pretend you're spraying your mouth with a fresh breathalyzer or something, or breath mint, breathalyzer. Yeah. It's quite a nice experience because there's no smoke, no smoke.
That's all in your mouth.
Huh?
It's all in your mouth.
The whole.
What are you saying, Ed?
You know, right. I think I was more effective this way.
I think we did that question justice, don't you?
You know what? marijuana is going to cut into beer sales. Marijuana is going to cut into booze sales. And within the marijuana space, certain items are going to take away from smoking just joints. No?
I guess.
That's what I think.
Okay. What's the second question from the street? Ask us anything.
Ask us anything.
Hey, James, what 3 cannabis companies are you keeping an eye out for 2019 and why?
Hey, Siobhan. What 3 companies am I keeping an eye out for? Well, let's see here. Oh boy, how to answer this without talking my own book too much. Let's see. I'm going to pick 3 companies that I've invested in.
In cannabis.
In the cannabis space because I invested in them because I like them. One is now called Heritage Cannabis, trading under the symbol CANN. I have had a large position. I've lightened up a bit. I'm holding the rest for the duration to see if they can execute.
What's the price of that one?
20 cents, 18 cents.
Still sitting around 20.
Yeah. Number 2, you know, I'm starting to look at Trulieve with a new warm place in my heart since they put out financials that indicate that they're on track for a $100 million run rate for this fiscal 2019. They announced $27 million net income.
Do I sound like that?
No, only I sound like that. Net income.
I think this recent the releases of the last couple weeks for the quarter, and we're getting lots of information. I think it's a good time to take the information from those press releases and look at, you know, how strong is the balance sheet? How much cash? Do they need to raise more money? Is this thing throwing off positive cash like we saw? TRST is throwing off positive cash.
90% of the companies it would be no, no, yes, and no.
I know, but I think it's time to take a good look. Like we just saw some numbers here for Trulieve, and they look pretty good, I thought.
Yeah. No, I'm looking for the companies. Another one that I'm looking for is, I think it's called Green Brands, GBB. Let me just quickly look that up here before I misspeak. GBB.
Really, really curious to see where the MedMen opens.
GBB. Green Growth Brands. This is one that I'm a little bit excited about. And the reason I'm excited is because it came to market with at a reasonable, at least in the context of cannabis stocks, a reasonable valuation. So the management of this company are formerly, you know, what you would call retail brand superstars associated with American Eagle. Is it American Eagle? Yeah. American Apparel, rather. And Victoria's Secret, I think was the other one. I can't remember. But they've got deep brand experience, probably, as they like to point out in their PowerPoint, more brand experience than anybody else in the cannabis sector. So that one's got my attention. And then, let's see what else. You know what? Another one I'm going to mention. I don't own any shares in it, but I've been watching High Hampton. HC is the symbol.
You know what? I wanted to bring that up today.
Why don't you pull up a chart while I talk? And theoretically, by the time I'm done talking, you'll have a chart and you start talking and I'll watch. Anyways, High Hampton just concluded the acquisition of a company called Mojave Jain. And as a result of that acquisition, which is now 100% owned by High Hampton, the CEO of Mojave Jain has become the CEO of High Hampton. Now, this is a company that has not participated in any way, shape, or form of the upside lift in any of the cannabis stocks. These guys are in California. They've got, I think it's 125,000 square foot land position, where they're going to build cannabis production capacity, cannabis production and extraction capacity. And now they've got Mojave Jain. They've got Aurora.
It was the CEO of Mojave Jain coming on to be the new CEO of...
That was just announced. That's what I...
Yeah, I think, in fact, you know who called, texted me asking if we could interview the new gentleman? And I said, yeah, we'd be delighted to.
I actually emailed High Hampton today and said, can you get this guy on our show?
There you go.
There we go.
Please let them know that was a result of me asking you, even though it wasn't.
Okay. I don't mind making shit up.
He did say, would you like to interview the new CEO and the new COO?
Who?
Christian, the former CEO.
I don't think he ever got to be CEO.
Yes, he got to be temporary CEO.
Interim CEO?
Interim CEO.
Interim CEO. Okay.
HC.
Okay, so while you're doing that, Edward, let's go to Ask Me Anything question number 3.
Hi, James. AI technology has really taken off. What companies do you think will break ahead of the pack in the next 3 years?
Okay, good question.
Yeah.
AI.
That's an area that I'm not that up to speed on.
Yeah. Okay, you want to know what AI company I think is going to take off in the next year?
Yeah.
It's called Time Machine. Time Machine Capital. I just wrote a check into this company. It's not trading yet, but it's called Time Machine Capital.
Right.
John Cleese is a shareholder from Monty Python.
Right.
As is Damian Lewis, one of the main actors in Billions. Billions. They're both shareholders.
Damian Lewis is a shareholder?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
He's British, you know, even though he talks in that movie, in that his show, he talks with an American accent. But no, he's British.
You've got to be kidding me. You don't say that he's British. Interesting. Pity. Pass the tea.
Pippy.
So yeah, what other AI companies do I know about even?
Yeah, that says it all right there.
Yeah, I don't know of any other AI companies per se.
So we'll be able to answer the question about Highhampton better after we interview the new CEO.
That's an excellent observation.
Okay.
All right. Let's take a look at the markets. Let's see who the big winners were.
Let's see where the action
Who are the big losers. All right. So I'm going to change my screen here to a let's see.
I think we should look at the S&P chart again.
Okay, we can do that too. I'm looking at the market movers here. Now, on the TSX Venture, Sokoman Gold shed 4 cents, 3 cents to 19.5 cents. That's hilarious. But did you see Avicanna Resources? So here's another company that I wrote a check into. Avicanna Resources is down at 13 cents after they put out a underwhelming press release that, let's just say, was a disappointment to shareholders.
You know who I spoke to briefly today?
No.
Mike Blady.
No kidding. What did Mike have to say?
Well, Mike, you know, he just went on a
vacation. You can tell by his share price.
It wasn't a vacation. Apparently, it was work related.
Work related.
Far East, Europe, all over Europe.
Oh.
You know,
spending money.
Spent a night with. I think it was to do with G-Tech as well as.
Oh, G-Tech's now part of Invictus.
Yeah, yeah. He talked briefly to me about the strategy behind that merger.
Yeah.
Just saying. I gotta be.
Did it make any
when
sense?
I talk to him, can I just tell you what he says, or
sure?
Or is that?
What did he say?
Well, I never recorded it, so I kind of forget.
So you want to tell me what he says, but you don't remember?
But next time I'll record it.
you could just remember, maybe.
Yeah, if I had a good memory, I could.
Okay.
But if I had a shit memory.
Well, which is probably what you're dealing with right now.
My memory, you know what a sieve is? My memory's like a sieve.
I remember a sieve.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it means.
S-I-E-V. It's a container for sifting flour.
I don't think it would qualify as a container.
No, you're right. It contains things for short periods of time, and if you move it around.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what can you put in a sieve that doesn't get filtered through?
An orange. If you really try to put it through, you might end up with orange juice. Okay.
All right then. Okay, so we're going to pull up the portfolio manager here, and we're going to take a look at that. Look at that Jimmy's NDI. Jimmy. Where is Jimmy's NDI?
Got an interesting development.
Whoa! Look at that.
What?
Red Ed. Is Ed?
We got to watch the market
red.
Here. Is Ed
There's
red?
no Ed.
Is Ed well read?
There's no Ed in up. And there's also no Ed in green. It's not that easy being green.
Now that's your favorite. That's your favorite voice.
That's my favorite Kermit tune. So let's see. Tilray closed down 371. That was a bit of a But look at that. Everything is red.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up.
You want to put up my chart for a minute? Just talk about the S&P.
Oh, here we go.
I think it's important for the viewers to see where we are because I think the marijuana space is following the S&P.
So is that red candle on the far right? Is that today?
Yeah.
Okay, so red day in the S&P.
Yeah, but red day but with a nice little tail.
Yeah, red day.
Yeah, but it's a tail.
Let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
Red day in the S&P, red day in the cannabis stocks. Coincidence? I don't think so. Actually, Ed, could we do a 5-day?
Look at this. Look at this one. There, that's. If this thing doesn't breach itself in the next day or two, we're going to get another rally, and then we're going to test that. There you go. See, look at the symmetry there.
Lovely.
Okay, what does it all mean? Come back tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, okay, so tell you what.
So look at there's evidence of a bottoming here on the right, even though it's a little lower than this one. It's certainly well above this one. This has got to resolve itself at some point. That's like that. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but I think we're okay. We'll soon see.
Okay, here's my question.
I'll sit back and listen
I would like to know, in the last 5 trading sessions, so 1 week of trading sessions, we have had 4 red days and 2 green days.
That's 6 days.
6 days.
Yeah, you
so
said
1
5.
Week plus 1 day.
4 and 2 is not 5.
1 week plus 1 day. What I want to know is on the days where the S&P was green, were cannabis stocks green? And on the days where the S&P was red, were cannabis stocks red in the last 6 sessions?
Well, you know what you got to do? Put up your chart of your index against this.
Oh, what an idea! Okay, let's do that. Woo!
You know, I like this. It's delayed a bit. You get to see yourself in the past.
I know, like just by a couple of seconds.
Just by a couple of seconds.
2, not long enough ago that you can change anything. No. Not that you'd want to change anything, but you're waving at yourself.
No, I can actually move my hand and back before that one. That guy, that idiot over there, he's trying to copy me and he can't do it.
Okay, Edward, pull up your chart.
Oh, who makes this shit up?
5 days. Oh no, let's go.
Let's do a 10-day. Let's do a 10-day.
Let's go 3 months because you can't really see the color of the candles if you go tighter than that.
I can. I have nice graphics on my chart.
You got a different chart, do you? Okay, so putting up either Ed's or my chart.
Well, let's put them both up. Can you
Whoa!
put? Okay.
Okay, starting with November 7th, Ed. Put your mouse on November 7th. Oh, can you do it?
Okay, November
7th.
Which one's that?
It's
6.
the one before 8 and the one after 6. Okay, is that November 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, so green day on the S&P, green day in the stocks. Next day.
I'm looking at the S&P right now. If you got, we both have.
I'm looking at the large cap.
Okay.
Midas Letter Cannabis Index.
I'll call out what happened on my day. Well, I'll say nice green candle.
Okay, next day, November the 8th.
We had a red doji, which was a bit of an indecision day in the S&P. Yours is red.
Okay, next day, Monday or Friday, November 9th.
Yeah, red.
Red. That's what I've got too.
Next day,
Monday, November 12th.
Big red.
Red for me too.
Big red. Next day.
Red. Next day.
Looking like maybe we're coming into some resistance, but red.
Red as well. Next day.
Red.
Red as well. Next day.
Green.
Green as well.
Okay.
Next day.
Green.
Red. Next day.
Red.
Red.
Little greener here, but there's a correlation.
There's a correlation. Yeah. In, well, I guess 5 out of 6 would be 85% of times.
Was there a coronation or a correlation?
Coronation? Mean you got crowned?
Yeah.
You got dinged?
You might have got crowned.
Crowned?
Crown me. King me.
King me. What do you want to play checkers now?
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's interesting. So I guess we should be keeping our eye on the correlation between the S&P and the performance of the larger index.
And if you were in Germany, you'd say und.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. So here we are. Day's almost over.
It's not almost over.
Juju is up on the day, up half a penny.
Ooh, really? What, 11 and a half?
Yes, sir.
Whack that.
Khiron, you know, Chiron's another one of those stocks in the cannabis space that, you know, I think there's some real substance there because they got the big political guy from Mexico on the board. They got some good relationships, as you know.
Oh yeah, you mean Vicente Fox, the former president?
Are we? I'm going to be squirming around here a bit.
Okay, you squirm. I'm going to find some comments to answer on the YouTube channel because could we please comment on the U.S. Farm Bill? Not really. Let's see here. The reason we can't is because we don't know enough about it. We're not in the U.S.
Can you talk for 2 minutes?
Can I talk for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You mean talk to myself?
Just relax.
You're leaving?
I'll be right back.
Okay. I guess Ed has to go use the bathroom. All right. Let's see. I'm going to talk to you guys because Ed has hit the road. So, let's see. Cannabis is now manufacturing a handheld THC breathalyzer for use in the field. 2 separate companies have been contracted to build them, says Dave Green. Cannabis, symbol BLO. So what? Are they admitting then that the Draeger is not actually going to be a reliable and useful device for testing for cannabis intoxication? Have we had any cases of cannabis intoxication identified using the Draeger? And how long is it going to be until this new THC breathalyzer is prototyped, manufactured, tested, and certified for use in the field? I would like to let you guys know that there's another device manufacturer coming to market called Fluorotech, symbol TEST. I do not own any shares. They are not a client. I have no reason to speak glowingly of them except for the fact that I think they're doing some amazing things. I haven't tried any of their devices, but we are going to have a Fluorotech cannabis testing device here on this table within, I'm going to say 2 weeks. And we are going to test the cannabis products of all of the licensed producers as is available on the Ontario Cannabis Store. And we're going to try to see whether the THC and CBD content actually matches what's being labeled, because we've seen indications that the labeling is not exactly accurate from the Ontario Cannabis Store. We are going to see if by the time the product arrives here, whether the CBD and THC content of the product is the same. In other words, are these things shelf stable, or are you going to have to always question the THC content of your product because it's continuously changing? So that device is made by Fluorotech, symbol TEST on the TSX venture. And we are also told that they are making a superior breathalyzer device for roadside testing that is good in temperatures up to -5 or -20. I can't remember now, Edge. Can function on an angle. One of the criticisms that was leveled against the Draeger is that it had to be on a level surface. And so, while we wait for Blow to blow up, just kidding. No, to either roll out a new device and or improve the one they've got. There's going to be a new kid on the block very soon. Let's see. MJ Gieser says cannabis $7 US this time next year. Not too promotional. Okay, we're going to have to remove that one because promotional is not allowed in there. You will not promote in the chat room, or we can promote. Nicholas, etc., says, go on about G-Tech.
Okay. Well, I can say...
Okay, that's enough. Next question.
No, we should, let's just say, look at. You know what? I think that from the brief conversation I had with Blady, and I mean, it's announced, and they're going to do a share swap. Yeah. And the reason is because Invictus has got some strong points. Yeah. G-Tech's got some strong points.
What is the strong
well,
points of Invictus?
you know what? Let's just suffice to say that they looked at it and they thought it was a pretty good fit. That this is from the point of, management of G-Tech's perspective. So there you go.
I know that Invictus got Gene Simmons on board, and they promptly changed their symbol to Gene.
Really?
Yes. Which to me undermines the whole value proposition that this is a serious company.
Gene, I thought Gene Simmons did no alcohol, did no smoking, did no drugs or nothing.
Or nothing?
Well, if you're going to get a guy on there...
Then he did everything. If he didn't do nothing, he'd done everything. Anyways, so yeah, I got to say that I'm not impressed with that merger at this point because...
because of that?
G-Tech, well, G-Tech to me was like it had great promise and looked like a giant shiny beast that was just waking from a slumber into action. And the Invictus thing, not so much.
They're supreme.
However, I will reserve judgment until I see if those guys can merge and pull it together in some way, shape, or form. Can we talk about Sugarbud Corp, says Tyler Valdell. We haven't looked at Sugarbud, so the answer to that would be not yet, but we'll take a look tonight. I'm going to look at Sugarbud tonight, and we'll come back to you tomorrow. Do I still like Ianthus? Yeah, I do. I bought it, and I hold it, and I've written it down a bit, and I'm still holding it because I think Ianthus is better than Cura and Acreage at this point. And I think that, basically, you got to think of it this way. So Ianthus has been around in all of these state markets as they've been evolving for 5 years. And, what they haven't bought is probably not worth buying, maybe. So the other companies, I don't know. I haven't seen much that I like with any of those other large ones yet. Also, there's communications issues with those other firms. Brandon Colwell. So basically, get high when it's below 20 degrees and you won't get caught by the breathalyzer, I think is what he's trying to say. Yeah, that's kind of what we're saying, Brandon. You sneaky bastard.
Get high when what?
It's minus 20. We're talking about the machine that Fluorotech is making that's going to be able to test for cannabis intoxication at roadside in minus 20 degree temperatures. Brandon said, so that's easy to get around. You just only get high when it's minus 20.
But doesn't it work when it's minus 20?
It works up to minus 20 at this point. But, there's also always the possibility that if they expect you're intoxicated, that they could just take you back to the police station where it's plus 18 or 19 or 20 and test you there. Anyways.
Okay.
Our opinion on 1933 Industries, which was former TGIF. Don't have one because don't own it and not really paying attention to what's going on with them. Any Juju news? None. Let's see. Faye Smith says she loves to listen to these guys. She's talking about you and me.
Really?
Yeah. Does that warm the cockles of your heart, Ed?
Yeah.
It does. Thank you, Faye Smith. We love you too. Genkin Krumpf, F66. He wants to know our opinion of 1933 Industries too. Don't have one right now. What will be the approximate price point on the Fluorotech complete test kit? Well, we know that the testing kit that's going to be on our desk, the testing device, which is not designed for roadside impairment use, but for testing for THC and CBD content, as well as pesticides and heavy metals, that device is going to cost $20,000 and cost $60 in consumables per test. Not cheap. Not cheap. We'll do one test a day, but the company's going to let us have one. Al Godet wants to know, what's my favorite pot stock holding? Okay, so that I'm holding. My favorite pot stock holding is easy. That's Charlotte's Web. That's easy. James, have you looked into Crop? No thanks. Tried. They don't communicate. Haha, yes, please listen to Canopy, ride, and Uber. Don't drive high. I want to just pause there because we used to drive around high all the time when we were kids. The only problem with driving high is you go too slow. Now, that arguably is a bit of a hazard, but here's the thing. When you're high, you don't want to go on highways because you're like, I don't want to go that fast, man.
You want to go on highways when you're high. You want to go on lowways when you're low.
Not true.
Okay.
Highways, let's stay away. Country roads. You like country roads when you're high.
Country roads.
Take me home to the place I belong. Enough of that. Let's see. GBLX stocks. Lots of accumulation. What do you think? GBLX. Don't know it? We're going to take a look. Boy, there's a lot of stocks we don't know about now, Ed. This is the problem. The market's exploding.
Yeah.
When will the U.S. Arlet crash? What's the U.S. Arlet, do you think? A-R-L-E-T. Tell you what, we don't know.
My device here
Yeah.
is out of energy. I
No
got
kidding.
to charge it up.
There's a charger right down there.
No.
Yep.
No.
I can see it.
No.
Yep. I don't know what you mean by Arlet crash there, Jason Capel. Maybe you could clarify. Anthony Alvarez wants to know, what is our opinion about TerraTech? They're making profit monthly, but their stock doesn't reflect it. TerraTech. Don't know it. Jason Capel, when will the USA market crash? Today! No, when will the US market crash? Let's see. When will the US market crash, Ed? Tomorrow?
Well, it crashed in 2008.
That was definitely a crash.
Yeah, it crashed in 29.
Well,
Crashed in
same
87.
crash. That was a crash. So, I'd say we're due.
You know what? You can't.
You've got the moron in the White House screwing up every trade agreement on the planet, which is undermining definitely economic stability. The same said idiot is also running around undermining, long-standing geopolitical pecking order, also adding to economic instability. So I'd say as long as we've got a certain idiot in the White House, the prospects for a total crash of the U.S. economy are high.
You could argue you've had idiots in the White House now probably for the last 100 years.
Well, one could argue that only an idiot would ever be in the White House.
Well, then why are we so surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Anyway.
Yeah. Business proceeds in spite of government, not because of government.
Yeah.
Voltaire says, when will the stock market crash? When a foolish Democrat wins office. I guess that's what we call the opposing view. Yeah. All right, you know what? We've had enough. Have you guys had enough? We've had enough. It's 4:30. We're going to wrap it up
4:30.
Here
it's after 4:30.
Tomorrow, though, we have Ben Way here from Wayland. We might have Cam Batley from Aurora.
Yeah.
And I think later this week we're also going to have humble Howard Lassman.
Again?
Lassman, yes.
He's good.
Yeah, he is good. He doesn't know that yet, so if he's watching, sorry, Howard, can you come on the show again? So we're going to look at lots of different things. Oh, I started a absolute war about Trump and Democrats. Anyways, guys, we don't really care about who's in the White House. We like to make fun of everybody on an equal basis because we really secretly hate everyone, including ourselves. I know it's sick, but thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends how much we hate you. Thank you. Goodbye.